Stablecoin regulation is a topic that by now I'm sure that you guys are probably all tired of hearing about, but it is one of the most important things to focus on, and we are going to be addressing it in this video. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Now, like I said, as we do talk about stablecoin regulation, it is very important because as we wait for full-on clarity for the space, slowly but surely we'll start to see certain things be regulated, whether that be stablecoins, whether that be DeFi, no matter what, we're going to start to see slowly but surely regulations rolling out around crypto. Now, stablecoins, I feel as though are going to see this first. The reason why is because of how much money is behind stablecoins, how crucial they are for crypto, but also the benefits that they actually have on fiat currencies as well, which I've outlined on multiple occasions on why stablecoins are actually a big focus even from the US government standpoint. But as you guys are probably all aware, everything is heating up around stablecoins now. And I can't help but to feel, and maybe I'm biased because, we talk about XRP, we talk about Ripple on this channel a lot, but it feels as though everything really kind of started to heat up right after Ripple announced that they were working on their stablecoin. And we do know in the beginning of August, they started testing it on the testnet. Now, very similar to other occasions where, for example, if we go all the way back to 2023, when we got the announcement that XRP is not a security, guess what? From that point on, it was nothing but big announcement after big announcement after big announcement. So it kind of feels as though these are not coincidental events or movements happening. It feels as though everything is kind of aligned with Ripple. And I know that that sounds crazy to say, but this is exactly what I have been really kind of seeing every single time that we have something pushed by Ripple. From that point on, everything kind of aligns with it. Maybe I'm crazy. What do you guys think down in the comments below? But with that, let's actually move on and let's actually talk a little bit more about regulations. So from Fireblocks, which I'm sure that you guys are probably all aware, this is a major institutional custody company. Fireblocks has been around for a while. They are very large in this space. On August 27th, they put out a full report on how MiCA can bring much needed regulatory clarity to the $152 billion stablecoin market. And yes, let it be known that MiCA is still in play. It's still in progress around a full-on rollout. So far, as of June 30th, the first phase of these new rules around MiCA are now in effect. But the entire full effect of MiCA does not happen until the end of this year. That's why I say 2025 and 2026 is going to be very interesting, not around price or around market performance, but more so about market regulation. Market regulation is going to heat up over the course of the next 12 to 24 months. And I say that not to, say, hey, we have to wait this long. No, I just say that because we are already witnessing everything kind of falling into place around that time frame. But we have here the case for stablecoin regulation amendments. Stablecoins are integral to numerous critical use cases, especially non-speculative ones. And yes, this is true. Stablecoins have also proven imperative in cross-border payments, safeguarding against hyperinflation or other local currency debasing risk. They are also frequently used to interact with smart contracts and therefore form a central component of the lending and yield-generating ecosystem. Now, they also do mention that there is still hope that these changes can be achieved without having to wait for MiCA 2. And what they're talking about is restrictions. So we have, despite aiming to foster innovation and propel the industry towards greater legitimacy, these restrictions may in fact be doing the opposite. Attempting to protect the euro and alleviate potential systemic risk caused by large-scale stablecoin usage by way of imposing overly restrictive limits may be doing stablecoin adoption and growth in the EU more harm than good. It is evident that e-money restrictions must be revisited. And that's what, we really want to see changed in, MiCA and around MiCA. These changes can definitely be achieved without having to wait for a MiCA 2 is what they're saying here, because what they're talking about is, hey, MiCA is here. Why not utilize this to actually get this right? And instead of having to wait for a potential, second rollout or so. So as we do really kind of look at regulations, yes, there's a lot of problems with regulations. We need to make sure that we do this right. We need to make sure that we get this right as well, especially in, Europe, in the US, the UK, you name it. Now we have stablecoins, a weapon of mass adoption. And this has been a big argument, more so around how stablecoins could lead to mass adoption. We have stablecoins are a linchpin to digital asset mass adoption and an accessible gateway to blockchain technology with a low barrier to entry, much like the recently approved Bitcoin or Ether ETFs. They offer a point of entry for banks and financial issuers looking to offer a regulated product. For consumers, they are the perfect vehicle for entering Web3 commerce, enabling smart contract interactions, and enhancing other experiences like gaming or other internet environments. Now, the problem here is, again, as we look at stablecoins, we still need to have, digital asset markets, the entire space, and stablecoins thrive greatly, even in a regulated environment, because we don't get mass adoption without regulations. That's just the fact, right? We need to have regulations roll out. We need to have guardrails. That way the institutions and enterprises can go all in and bring all of their users to this space. We won't get there without proper regulations. And yes, stablecoins are great for mass adoption, but let's just be honest, stablecoins are not going to be, the red carpet for mass adoption. We need to actually have, use cases and, legitimate real world applications that are providing value to the end user. And we also need to make sure that we're fixing the UI issues around crypto and things like that. There's a lot of work to do on that front, but for the most part, the number one thing to focus on right now is regulations. But talking more so about this, outside of the US and technically even in the US, we have been seeing some big moves happening around stablecoin legislation, the UK, the EU, Hong Kong, Singapore, Switzerland. I mean, guys, we are starting to see some pretty big moves being made. And also, we have to mention Russia, because Russia has been pushing forward on a lot of regulatory movements around crypto, stablecoins, things like that. So that's also another one to mention. Now, I want to bring this up because as we do focus on this, what about Tether? So I believe that this got originally posted by Smoke Dog, and this is S&P Global Ratings Stablecoin Stability Assessment. Now, this goes back to December of 2023, just recently, and this is Tether. Now, they fully break down the summary around stablecoin, around Tether as a stablecoin and the stablecoin market. But over here, we actually we have a full in-depth view of the governance, the regulatory framework around Tether. We also have the liquidity and redeemability. And this is all breaking down why Tether is actually not a good stablecoin. It's actually kind of crazy that this is coming from the S&P Global Ratings. So here we have the assessment. Adjustment, neutral. It's not negative, just neutral. Governance, opaque management. There's no public disclosure about the type of assets eligible for inclusion in the USDT's reserves or the action to be followed if the value of one of the underlying assets or asset classes were to drop significantly. And we do know that Tether is one of the largest holders of US treasuries. So it definitely begs the question, like, what is going to happen if some of these assets or even asset classes that are in the reserves drop? Like, what happens? Well, does that mean that Tether is going to depeg? Does that mean that Tether is going to have a hard time? Like, what's going to happen from that point on? But also, we note that this reporting is less frequent for other stablecoins, which are generally subject to monthly reporting and attestation. And they're more so talking about how USDT's assets are subject to quarterly reporting and third-party attestations by an independent auditor. And this is completely different, and it's actually less frequent than other stablecoins. We also have, and this is more so the liabilities related to USDT in circulation. However, these numbers are not reviewed by the auditor, and there is no breakdown of the composition of the assets. Again, just kind of showing us like, hey, guess what? Like, what's going on here? There's not a lot of transparency. The auditor's not really kind of involved here. This is a lot of the issues that I have with USDT as well. We also have regulatory framework, lack of regulation, and information about asset segregation. And again, there's a lot other information in here, but this is highlighted as the most important part. Tether Holdings Ltd is not subject to regulation or supervision of an authoritative body. Again, very significant. And we also have this contrast with some stablecoin issuers that are subject to regulatory oversight by an authority, such as the New York State Department of Financial Services, which, by the way, Ripple does have a license with because of the standard custody announcement around them, acquiring standard custody. We see the lack of regulation and or supervision of USDT as a weakness. In addition, there's no publicly available information on the segregation of USDT's assets and the extent of their insulation from a bankruptcy of the issuer. And then also liquidity and redeemability, lack of primary redeemability is partly mitigated by strong secondary market liquidity. And they just have this highlighted point down here, and that you guys probably can't see this, but we have therefore the redemption of USDT is constrained by the banking system's operating hours. Again, lots of issues here. And this leads us to the RLUSD. RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, is a very significant piece of the puzzle. Now, both Brad Garlinghouse and JP Morgan, you probably never thought you'd hear this in a sentence together, expect US stablecoin regulation around the same time. Big shout out to Smoke Dog for this. We have both Brad Garlinghouse and JP Morgan expect US stablecoin regulation to be passed before the election in November. Coincidence? I think not. And here we actually have stablecoin set to launch, US stablecoin, or Ripple set to launch the US stablecoin in a crowded $150 billion market. Over here, we have Garlinghouse said he expects a stablecoin bill to be approved before this year's presidential election. Over here, stablecoin bill may pass before the election, JP Morgan says. And then also over here, we have the stablecoin bill is likely to be approved before the presidential election and poses a threat to Tether's dominance. So, again, JP Morgan firing a shot at Tether. Very, very interesting. Now, also we have JP Morgan has even said that stablecoin issuers who adhere to regulations will benefit from the upcoming regulatory crackdown and gain market share. Looks like JP Morgan knows what's coming, as expected from them. And here we have JP Morgan analyst said that stablecoin issuers who have adhered closely to existing regulations will benefit from the upcoming regulatory crackdown and gain market share. Again, this is why I say that Ripple is playing the game perfectly. I personally believe that Ripple is in on what's happening. They know what's going on. They know the plan, and they are just playing in accordingly to that plan. This is why, as we do look at the RLUSD being not only extremely compliant, Ripple is working with regulators. They want this to be 100% compliant. They want this to be 100% regulated. They want this to be safe. This puts Ripple's RLUSD on a path to take over as the number one stablecoin in this space. And also, guess what? As we do continue to see posts from the Digital Pound Foundation, we know that Ripple's working with the Digital Euro Association as well. I do believe that Chad Steingraber is 100% correct here. There's going to be an RL Euro, RLUSD, RL Pound, everything. We are going to continue to see every single country, every single nation will have their own stablecoin. And this could very well be RL coin, RL, USD, RL Euro, RL Pound, you name it. That's exactly where I foresee this where I foresee this going as well, how I foresee everything happening. This is going to be very, very interesting. Now, is it all going to be backed by XRP? It's a little bit of a stretch, but I do think that this is going to create a lot of liquidity pools on the XRP ledger, going to create a lot of wallets, and it's also on Ethereum as well. I just want to throw that in there. It's not just independent to XRP and the XRP ledger, but XRP and the XRPL will greatly benefit from this. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.